Hi, my name's Jen. Welcome to my channel, All My Plants. In today's video, I have a variety of plant chores, or plant adjacent. I'm going to separate this Dieffenbachia Cool Beauty. I have some supposed to be like prismatic cling film that I want to put on a window because I have plants there and I don't want them to burn. Normally I put a curtain in that window and don't keep plants there in the summer because they'll fry. So I'm hoping that this will diffuse the light enough while not looking terrible, but still let light in. So we're going to see how that works out. And then in the guest room, I have a bunch of plants in there that really don't need to be in there. I'm not sure. Like I have this canopy bed in there, and all the way around, except for the sides that are touching the wall, are hanging plants. Some of them are going to go in pots that don't hang, which might be problematic because some of them are kind of long, and that's why they would hang. So I might trellis some of the Hoyas. The other ones might get a haircut. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing yet, but I guess we'll see when we get there. I guess I'm going to start with the first thing, which is the easy thing, and that would probably be dividing this Dieffenbachia. It's just really a lot going on, and there's no really any reason for me to be separating it other than I want it to not have to compete so much with its friends for nutrients, light, water, you know. I don't know if it'll do better or worse. I think I've killed a few Dieffenbachia previously, repotting them, but I don't know. That could be because they were already stressed. I'd underwatered them, overwatered them. I think I repotted them because I was trying to save them. I did not. Spoiler alert, they did not survive it. I think I've said before that I don't always do great with them, and that still remains true. I've got a few around that are doing okay now, but that doesn't mean I've become a master of them. Certainly not. It's got plenty of roots. I don't know that it needed a pot that big, but I guess it wasn't hurting anything either, so didn't seem to be mad about it. I'm not sure if these are all connected together in here or if they're separate. It looks like two separate pieces. This little cluster of, what, three? That's cute. It's cute. And then I guess this is all one clump. Yeah, these guys are connected. It's 2 or 3, 4. There's a teeny tiny one here, which I think I'm just going to pull off. I don't think we need that extra little guy on there. Because there's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is like a clump of 6, which I'll leave this one together, I guess, and put that back in the original pot, and then I'll put this one in its own little pot. Yeah, I think that works. Put that dirt in the floor so I step on the edge of it and fling it across the room. Not intentionally, but let's be honest, that's probably what I'll do. I see a fungus gnat in this bin just hanging out on the side. That's not great. I really got to start using the mosquito bits again or do something. Nematodes, I don't know. Something. I'm leaving it in the self-watering because I'm going to put it right back in the, is it Costa Farms pot? Wherever I put that? Oh, right here. Right in the pot that it came in. It's just convenient. That way I can water it in place. And it catches all the drips. And uses them. Okay. Leave it alone, kitty. My little cat's in here sniffing the dirt. Don't you do anything improper. in there. So I still don't have my internet hooked up. And I had intended to record immediately after the last video, but I ended up going somewhere. I don't know. So it's actually been a few days. But yeah, I still don't have the new internet hooked up, which makes me sad. Patience is a virtue, though, or so I hear. So I hear. And I don't disbelieve that, so I'll just be glad when it's hooked up. I'm so ready. I do plan to actually clean up the greenhouse. My husband's like, yeah, I'll build doors for you, which will help with the wasp issue. The doors that come on it, like standard factory, they don't really seal very well. That, and if it's even the slightest bit off level, which when I first set it up, it was level, but I think, you know, the ground is settled and washed out and things like that as the years have gone by, and it makes it very difficult to open and close the doors when they're not perfectly level. So I guess I'm going to use it for some plants, but I still haven't been out there to clean it out or anything like that. Weeds grow in there over the winter. It's dirty. I need to kind of scrub it off, power wash it gently, because it's just polycarbonate panels. It's not glass or anything. But yeah. But I didn't want to do that today because it's chilly and breezy, and there's no doors at all on it right now. I've got them pulled completely off. Maybe the wind did it over the winter, I'm not sure. But yeah, they're off and inside the greenhouse right now. So it just lets the cool air blow right in there. I think it's 55 outside, which is not that cold, but I'm being a sissy right now, and I want to do indoor chores today. And what is it in here? 74 degrees Fahrenheit. What's that Celsius? It's also about 74. It's like 73.8 Celsius, or 23.8 Celsius. I think 73 would be, ooh, I'd be boiling. All right, but anyway, so, you know, it's comfortable in here. A little on the warm side, but it's always warmer in the upstairs of my house for some reason. Heat rises, I guess that's why. It's not some reason, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? How do you like my supervisor here? Ma'am. Green-eyed monster. She looks at me very suspiciously with her one good eye. Go on. So there's that one. It looks pretty much the same. But maybe it won't have to compete so much. I don't know. I do like the variegation on this. Alright, so that's that one. I'm going to put it behind me for the moment. Let me put it right in its pot, actually. Alright. Put that over here for some water. And maybe a 4-inch for this one. I just washed a whole bunch of them. Where did I put them? Oh, I put them over here. This one. You know, I'm running out of cover pots. You know. Which, you know, it doesn't matter on some stuff, but I've got some wooden shelves over here that aren't actually wood. And I'm afraid they'll bug up if they get moisture on them. So I usually try to keep them in cover pots on there. I think most, if not all, of the plants on that shelf are in cover pots. Same with the thing behind me, the shelf behind me. A lot of them are in cover pots on that, but not because I think it'll damage that shelf, but because I don't want water dripping down onto the lights, you know, the electricals, or the floor, if I can help it. So cover pots are a wonderful thing, a valuable resource. I'm gonna need more soil. I don't think I have too much more things that I'm gonna repot today. I don't know. I guess we shall see. If you can hear my dog barking, I'm sorry, I have no idea what he's barking at. I don't think he knows what he's barking at. There's no one here, is there? No, there's no one here. I don't know. He just likes to bark. It makes him happy. It brings him joy. Alright, so there's those. I'm going to go water those because they were actually drier than I thought they were. And I'll be back. Okay, my dog's still losing his mind. I'm sorry if you can hear him. He'll stop eventually. But for now, we're going to stay in here with the doors shut. I've got some mosquito bits in here. Did you just see the fungus gnat fly out? So I put mosquito bits in there. Bark, more soil, a little bit of perlite, and some earthworm castings. I don't know what I did with the slow release fertilizer, or I'd put some of that in as well and probably overdo it with the fertilization, because I also use a liquid fertilizer every time I water. Every single time, every single plant. Maybe I'll just leave it as it is. I won't even go hunting that. But I was going to go to the other room and do some stuff, or maybe work in that hallway. I'm going to get one of the plants out of the hallway, though, that's hanging in that window, because, once again, I have way too many hanging plants. Way too many. So, I'm going to get that one. It's a night blooming jungle cactus. Let me get it. It's this one here, which, of course, I just watered this morning. Wonderful. It's in a hanging pot, and it's heavy enough now that it has permanently bent the hanger because it usually leans. And it's not doing fantastic. It's actually got some fronds that have died back in here. I don't know if you can see this brown crispy bit. There's a few of them. Let me get it a little closer, though. Maybe you can see them. Not that they're exciting. But, and I don't know what's happened there. Where's my scissors? Like why they've decided to die back, but it pulls itself out of this pot. It really does. Like the whole clump kind of lifts up as it dries, so that could be part of the issue. Yeah, and it dries very quickly. It still blooms all winter. It bloomed all winter this winter, but I kind of want to give it the best chance to grow that I can, since we're coming into the growing season. And while it does bloom in the winter, it grows all summer, so I got some of it out of there anyway. I think I'm going to put it in this, which is basically the same size. Not 100% sure. If it won't fit in there, I mean, I don't want to jam it into a really tight pot if it's ready for an upsize. I haven't actually looked at the roots, but anyway, if it won't fit in there, I'm going to put it in this one, which is, you know, slightly larger. I guess it's an 8-inch compared to a 6. Is this a 6? It looks like a 6. We're going to call it a 6. So, we'll see. And I'm not really going to remove all the soil either. I don't want to be extra disruptive. Extra disruptive? Sounds like words I'm just making up now. I want it out and repotted, but I don't want to shred the roots. It was dry this morning, but it's quite not dry now. It's damp, burr damp. It's not just damp, it's soggy. Okay. What I do see looks okay. We've got a little bit of root rot at the bottom there. I'm just going to plunk it. I'm going to knock some of the stuff off the top here. A lot of it's held on by roots, so... Alright. Yeah. It will fall over if I don't keep some pressure on it. I'm going to put it in this bigger pot. because it's not even a little bit of an up pot or any of the pot that it was previously in that wasn't filled with roots. So a little bit of an up pot is good. And where it's pretty well hydrated, the root ball is pretty well hydrated, even dripping still, I am not going to water this today. Okay. I'm hoping by putting it in a heavy ceramic planter, it won't pull itself over off the shelf and I won't regret this terribly. Hopefully. Because, I mean, the plant is very front heavy. And as it dries, it is just very top heavy, so I'm hoping that this isn't a problem. I guess we'll find out. I'll let you know in the future. So I was watching like Facebook Reels, and I guess Facebook knows that I like plants. So I like plant content comes up a lot. And it was somebody talking about like the self-watering moss poles. And they were saying that the best way to keep them wet is to fill the bottom portion with leca, so that when you're watering the pot, the leca is going to somehow wick this up into the moss pole. And so many people on there were like commenting, "Oh, I'm going to do this. This is a wonderful idea." It's not. It's not. That's not how that works. I have my gigas on a moss pole, potted in leca, with leca in the pole. Or no, I'm sorry, it's potted in pond with leca in the pole. That's not how that works. It does not wick any moisture up, maybe even to the very bottom of the pole. But that plant is, 2.5, 3 feet tall, and it does nothing for the moss more than an inch or so above the pot, if it even does anything for that part. So anybody who saw that, don't bother. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. But yeah, I was just like, I didn't say anything on the video because, who am I to be a Debbie Downer? But at the same time, I was also thinking, like, did this person who's saying that this is the best way to keep your moss poles moist, did they not test it at all? Did they just jump on there and go, that looks good, we'll do that? I don't know. If something didn't work for me, I'll tell you it didn't work for me, and I'm not going to say that based on I just did it today. Unless it's something that's just not feasible, which you probably knew before you watched me do it. But yeah, I think it's peculiar. That, and I keep seeing like these, it's in my YouTube studio, like with the creator studio where I go to upload stuff and check my analytics or whatever. So in there, it shows that like suggested videos that your audience might also be interested in or something like that. And it's these weird videos that say like, add this to keep your orchids blooming year-round. Orchids produce thousands of roots. And I've never actually watched one of these videos, but on the thumbnails it looks like a banana peel or Epsom salt, or and it's different things in every video. It's all the same creator, but I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm not saying that some of that stuff wouldn't help your orchid, but why, like the banana? I'm not putting rotting food in my plants. I'm not making banana peel tea or anything like that. I'll just go buy something. If I want it to be organic, I can buy organic, instead of drawing fruit flies to hang out with my fungus gnats. I don't know. It's my hot take, I guess, is don't put food in your plants. Not that kind of food, anyway. Alright, what do you think? That seems like a big pot. But I also think it needed the big pot. All right, now I have no idea where I'm going to put that, but I'll figure that out. Let me clean this mess up and I'll be back again. So this is the window in question. Right now it's not too bad, it's just starting to actually come in, but as the summer progresses, it will come in this window and fry anything I hang here. Not to mention let a lot of extra heat in the hall here. This is a hallway. So I guess the first thing to do is actually clean it, because I don't know if I've ever cleaned this area other than sweeping the floor because of leaves falling off plants. Leaves fall off plants all the time. My cats really like to sit in this window, which is kind of annoying. Oh, so was that. It's only annoying because they leave little muddy footprints and cat hair everywhere, and if I do have plants sitting there, they'll knock them out of the windowsill to make room for themselves, which is not ideal, not for the plants. I think that once upon a time I had big plans of putting a curtain up here. I also had big plans of painting the ceiling, which I still haven't done, and the floor. I painted this floor, let's see, my middle daughter was in college, so 6 or 7 years ago, and the hallway actually isn't that bad considering how much travel it gets, but the room behind me, which is the plant room, you can't hardly tell that I ever painted that. It's a lot of the paint is just gone. It's down to bare wood again. So I think this time I'll do a better job and like prime it. Like I'll probably take some of that orange goo stuff and strip it down pretty far, but I'm not going to sand it or get that fancy, but I will like use a tacky prime and then paint it black again with something that's a little bit more durable, and we'll see if it lasts longer this time around. Windows get really gross in this house. I really blame the cats, even though it's probably the plants. No, I don't intend to actually clean it with the rag. I'm just wiping off the worst of the stuff before I take some window cleaner to it. I need to do the outside too. This is, I think a lot of people already know, if you've watched my channel before, this is second story. Whew, it's hot up here. Pardon me, excuse me, coming through. Coming back through. Kicking the camera all over the place on my way by. Anyway, we bought this house, I don't know, almost 10 years ago. No, 10 years ago this August, as a complete, oh, there's a plant down here, as a complete basket case. It's still a basket case. And I think we paid about $20,000 for it, with a few acres, which was unheard of even then to get one that cheap. Oh wow, that whole track is coming out. But cheap basket case was kind of what was in my budget and my husband's, so that's what we bought, and it's been a work in progress for the entirety of the past 10 years. I think, I mean, we still have a lot of things to redo, lots of things that need repairs, because, you know, we lived here with our kids for the past 10 years. The last one just moved out a little over a year ago now. And wear and tear happens when you have children. Wear and tear just happens with yourself, unless you're somebody who doesn't, you know, you have a home to sleep there. You don't actually live in it. We live in our house. I mean, we really live in here. So, like, I think the kitchen was actually one of the first rooms we redid. We redid that one before we even moved in here. And, you know, now it's been several years. It needs to be redone again. Just wear and tear. That, and I picked a flat paint for my kitchen walls, like a flat, I think it's called coconut cream or some crap, the color, the name of the color. And it hasn't held up well. It was supposed to be scrubbable. You know, we paid an extra $20 a gallon for this super fancy paint that was supposed to be like stain guard and scrubbable and all this stuff. It's not. My kitchen paint is atrocious. Every meal I've cooked is on is on those walls down there. Sorry, my birds hear me talking. I didn't do anything to them, they just got quiet. Oh, almost. These windows, I don't think they come clean. I think we only replaced 1 or 2 windows, and that's because they were broken when we moved in. But, yeah. Alright. That's the cleanliness of the window. Not that you can see it, but trust me. Okay, I guess you can kind of see. You can see my collection of roofs out there with the sun shining off of them. I'm going to attempt to put that film up here. Where did I put the film? Behind you, of course, so I've got to move you. And you need a new battery anyway. Okay, so what do y'all think? Is this going to make this better or worse? Like having this film up here? I guess it's got to go this way. I mean, am I going to fry the plants with this? What's the best way to go about this? I've never put cling film on a window before. I guess cut it to the approximate size first. I might go find some scissors. I kind of have this weird thing in the back of my mind telling me that this is just going to make a big magnifying glass and fry the plants. But I guess not. I mean, it's kind of like frosted looking. Maybe I've got enough to do the top and bottom. And that looks really crooked. I don't know how to do this. I feel like this is probably a wasteful way to do it. You can correct me, I won't be mad. I take criticism well. Alright, I guess you gotta wet the window. It seems really alright, water. I don't know. And like how wet? I don't know. Alright, let me get the backing started. Has anybody ever done this before? I'm sure somebody has, but I mean, anybody who's watching this to tell me how wrong I'm doing this? Maybe I should have watched a video first. You can learn how to do anything on YouTube, right? Hopefully how to do it right, but, you know, 'tis me. Oh wow, that was really wasteful. Okay. Utility blade for trimming purposes. To make it fit better. And I guess I have the dullest one ever. Yeah, I definitely do. Oh, now I've cut that too low. It won't slide up. Please. It's like there's some parts of this film that are thicker than others, and the blade doesn't really want to cut through those so much. I think it's safe to say nobody's going to hire me to do this for a living. Oh my god, I am cooking up here. There's a jet flying over. Oh, I just poked myself. My bird thinks it's funny. I can see water bubbles. It's really hard to get in the corners. That's what I've learned today. And definitely use a sharper blade than what I'm using because it's like pulling it down. Jacob! Oh. Okay. That's part of the way done. I don't know, what's that look like? I don't know if it's actually going to cast like prisms. I guess we'll find out when we get to the bottom section where the light's hitting. Oh, there is prisms. I'll show you. That's the ugliest cut anybody's ever made. More water. Because I think all that dried before I got done fooling with it. Paper towel. And of course they're behind you again. Something on the window on the outside that I didn't get. C'est la vie. That's where it lives now. Pretty. Okay. I'm going to do the bottom half now. I'm not going to make you sit through that, but I'm going to do it and we'll show you the prisms and the final result. Okay, so I can't say it's the best anybody's ever put one of these like cling film things on, but I like it. I'm happy with it, and it is making little rainbows. I don't know if you can see them here. Let me take you down. Or perhaps we should call them prisms. I don't know if it's showing. Yeah, it kind of is. But I like it. Pretty happy with it. You can see them on the window itself. Ooh, fancy. Okay, now I can hang my plants back up. Oh. Are you okay? Did I hurt you? I kind of love the way that looks. I could do every window in my house like that. And that would be fine with me. Except for that you could never peek out the curtain and actually get an idea of what's going on outside. Okay, so still in that same haunted hallway, which you probably just saw clips of me speed cleaning and trying to get stuff out of. I want to put a shelf here, but I've still got this to deal with. But I think I'm putting a shelf here. I think it'll fit between like this window ledge and there's stairs down here. It's like a landing at the top of the stairs. And then it steps down into this section. But I think it'll fit here. So that's my goal for making this hall planty. Not that there's a lot of light in here. I mean, there's two windows. This was an air conditioner cutout that they stuffed a window in that does not actually function. And it's kind of behind a door. Most of the time this door here is open, which I need to paint that too. I cut in around the handle. That's as far as I got. But, yeah. Oh, I got some cobwebs up there too I need to get. Let me get the broom. But yeah, planty spaces around the house that are a little bit more intentional looking. Oh my gosh, the dust. Someday I'm going to get around to painting the ceiling. Oh, hit my hair clip on the doorway. But until then, oh, there's more. Kitty, stop. You're not helpful. It's a little cat. She loves the broom. She also loves it when I water plants. She'll stick her head right under it. This is one of my daughter's fake plants that needs to go back to her house. They're all moved out now, so she just didn't pack her fake plants and take them with her. I think she's got a couple real plants, not many. This is my middle daughter I'm talking about. She has some sort of aglaonema. I think this is trash. Some sort of aglaonema and a big peace lily. There are some really rusty washers. All this is trash. Butts and bolts. Nuts and bolts. Or butts and bolts, whatever. I had to get another rag. This still needs another coat of paint. I can do that a different day though. I forgot and I used the other one on the floor before it occurred to me that I still had other things to wipe down that are not floor. It's okay. That's what rags are for. This is the most pointless window ever. Like I said, it doesn't open. Like, there's no way to open it. It's like completely blocked in. All I can guess is, like I said, I think somebody who owned it before or rented it before or whatever had an air conditioner, cut an air conditioner hole in the side of the house. I don't know. There's a window right there. Why didn't they use that window? I guess that will do. Needs to be cleaned off. It's kind of crusty. Crusty and gross. That needs to be cleaned out too. Another day. I was gonna zip tie. I was gonna Velcro these on this shelf, these lights, but I think I am gonna zip tie them on. Just to make it so that they're not falling and crushing my plants. Not that I've ever had a problem with this Velcro plant Velcro giving up, but just in case. It is probably going to get bumped. I'm only going to do the top 3 shelves. I think it has 5 total. 2, 3. Yeah, 5, but I'm going to do 3 with light this way. Nope. Go toward the back. These. Okay, let me get my shelf liners, which are still quite wet. I'm just kind of sliding them under like one of the little wires that goes across the shelf just to kind of lock them in place, keep them from sliding off the side. Okay, lovely. Plug her in, plug her in. Okay, hear me out. I know I'm not a genius. This light that I clipped up here, it's pointing this way, which means that anything that I put up here is going to grow toward the wall. So I think I might have to get that cord, stretch it across here, and clip it on the opposite side of this attic door so that it's coming this way. But it's also entirely possible that because there's a window here and there's a window here, the plants might kind of grow backwards anyway. Which they do with grow lights. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. I could put a grow light on a plant and a plant near a window and it'll turn towards the window even if it's barely any light. That's what I'm going to do now that I've put it all there. Okay, so I've had to kind of give up on the light for the top shelf because I just know there's, 4 directions to go. There's a hallway, a bedroom, plant room, bathroom. So either way you go, that light was just going to shine right in your face, which I found very inconvenient. So, and I can't really, I was going to mount one from the ceiling, but then I was like, it's on an attic door, and I really don't want to fool around with that a whole lot. Because even though I don't go in there, someday I'm going to have to. Someday. Maybe. Haunted wasps. I don't know what lives in there. But I might have to go in there. And it's just not practical. Plus, I do intend to do something about the piece of plywood that is the bottom of where the ladder folds and rests. It won't always look like that. That I will do sooner than I actually go into the attic. So I didn't hang anything up there. But anyway, plants. I'm still going to put plants here. I guess I could get away with a lower light plant up here, potentially. I still think it'll lean towards one of the windows, probably the one closest, which is, that one. But, we'll see. Oh, my rainbows are leaving. Yeah, you can kind of see them from the film. But anyway, plants. This little succulent that's been sitting in the window. The little Dieffenbachia that we just separated earlier. Propagation of some jade pothos? No, jade syndapsus. Syndapsus jade. You know what? I might put that on this shelf because it has kind of like a thing around it where it maybe won't spill. I think that might be the way to go. What am I going to put up here? Like I said, something low light can survive. This poor Monstera aurea can go up there. Is that going to smack people as they walk by? Probably. It's pretty though. It's okay if something smacks you if it's pretty. I don't want this to be too cluttered up. I want it to look, I don't know, like it serves a purpose other than just holding plants. So what do I put on it to make it look that way? Towels, because the bathroom's right there. I don't know. It's a little glorious. That's not doing awesome. I don't know how awesome it'll do here, but it's been living in the bathroom of shame for 6 months. Maybe this is an improvement. I have a bunch of these little fairy garden things, and this little bunny. I guess since Easter's coming up, I'll put him out here, because that's cute. Just something other than plants on these shelves. I mean, I love plants, but I have like some planty things. I'm gonna put those on the bottom shelf for storage purposes, since it's not lit. Since it doesn't have any light. And I've got a few Hoyas, Obavata in a variegated splash, and just regular Obavata, which wasn't splash when I bought it, but it actually is now for some reason. Conditions, I believe. Because I think Hoya will do well, even though this is like pretty high light. I think that Dieffenbachia is going to burn. I don't know. I do think it is, though. Oh, it's still leaking water from where I watered it. Maybe a cover pot would have been a good idea. Yeah, I think instead of the Dieffenbachia, I'm going to put this Hoya Meredithii up there. I think I repotted this last video. I need to get something to clean up that water from the Dieffenbachia. Okay. Actually, I think I want this succulent toward the back. This toward the front. And you can sit right there, my little teapot house thing. Okay. I'm not going to overload it with too much. I think that's all the plants I'm putting on there. The rest of it will be practical things that you might need in a bathroom, I guess. I don't know. The light might damage some stuff. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so this room is supposed to be my guest room, but right now it is so full of like craft stuff and plant stuff that you can't function in here. Like there's a walkway, that's about it. But this is the bed. The sheet on the back there hanging, that's for a projector screen. I usually hang it on this one, like a TV type projector. But otherwise there's plants hanging and at the foot around. Plants over there, closet, and then plants all along here. I don't love this. It's 3 high. There's one next to it, 1 high. Purple plant lights, not in love with that. And then there's another one of these storage cube things here. There are lights up there. They're just regular, like halo lights on one of the extendable poles. I really want these shelves out of here. And I think there's like, what, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. There's only 11 plants on there. The whole bottom rack is just soil and leca. I think I can find something better to do with it. Maybe I can shove it under this one table and leave that in here. This is also blocking the window. I put it in front of the window because there's no lights under here except for whatever is coming from this lamp, which is pointing all over the place. It's a hot mess. So that's why it was shoved in front of the window, was to actually get some light to it. The sun comes in this window most of the day. This is the sunniest side of my house, I believe. So, and I don't even know what to do about this. I just got these shelves like that one over there, with some cubes, you know, the fabric storage cubes, to get like the craft stuff out of the way. Right now I've just kind of shoved some of it into the shelves. Some of it is slid under this bed, which is fine, but there's also, I think my daughter has a keyboard under there, a bunch of stuff under there. She bought a house. 2 of my children have now bought a house. There's no reason why she can't take it and store it under her bed at home. So I'll bring it to her. But anyway, I need to store my junk under her bed. What was her bed. I bought this bed too. But yeah, so not so much worried about the craft stuff right now. I'll do that on my own time. But the plants, I've got to do something about this shelf. Still have the plants look nice. I want them, like I say, I want plants in every room of my house. I want you to come in and look and see plants everywhere. But I don't want you to come in and go, wow, that's a lot of plants jammed on one shelf. Throughout the room, it's fine. I don't mind having plants hanging on this canopy bed. Just not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's currently 9. And if I had the room to have it sitting in the middle of the floor, I'd have plants all the way around 3 sides of it instead of just 2. But I don't want nothing but plants. I actually have a canopy for this bed that I would like to put on it, you know? Yeah. Plus I like my lanterns. I like the candles in them, let them hang, and it creates a vibe when I'm in here at night working on these plants. But yeah, this one needs repotted. I think I'll start a pile in the plant room of plants that need repotted. It's not going back into a hanging pot. It'll probably get a trellis. Yeah, this one's getting a trellis. This is Fusco marginata, I believe. And it wasn't doing well, but it's just started to grow again, finally. Flat mites, I'm guessing. Is that the only place I have new growth? That's the first new growth I've seen anyway. But this was one of the ones I got to treating after I started the other one, so it's a little bit behind. Okay, so we know we have to work on that one. This is a Hoya obovata, which a piece of it appears to have died off in there. Yeah, it did. I'm pulling it out. Getting dirt all over the carpet. But yeah, it probably just needs a repot. I think the soil's pretty hydrophobic, so even after you water it, like the next day it's dry. I'm going to continue to treat this one, repot it, and then after it's been through a full cycle of the, 9 weeks or whatever of sulfur, I'll probably give it away, because I have a bunch of them, basically. I have a lot of Hoya obovata. And like, there wasn't anything wrong with this one. It does have new growth, but it was wonky new growth. So, as far as I knew, maybe that meant something. Maybe it didn't mean anything. I don't know. Repot it. I think this is Hoya crassipes. I'm not sure what this Hoya is. It was tore up by insects in the greenhouse. That is all damage from something chewing on it. And I started treating it, and it has so much new growth now, and it's the most new growth I've seen in this in years. So maybe it also had flat mites, or maybe that damage is from just being infested with flat mites. Like there's a lot of new. I don't know if you can see the difference there. Mainly the old has stems this color, and the new stems are actually green. I guess you can see how this one transitions, maybe. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I couldn't tell you, but tons of new growth. This one's probably getting repotted as well. Same thing, it's just been in here for years. I don't know what it looks like down in the roots. I'm not going to trellis this one though. I kind of just like the way it looks all crazy. But yeah, I'll probably trim it, clean it up, repot it. And then what else I've got here? A little Hoya Crimson Princess. And this one, I don't know. It was doing okay for a while. It's mostly bald now. So I think the thing to do is probably propagate this one pretty much completely. And then when they get growing, I'll repot them all together. And I'm also treating this one with sulfur. I don't know if I mentioned, but all of my Hoyas are covered in sulfur, because they either all had flat mites or were under suspicion of having flat mites. This one's fine. It's some sort of something monstrose. Gosh, of course there's no tag on it anymore. But it flowers very much like Queen of the Night. It's similar vibes, except for this one is self-pollinating and will set seed. Like it gets a pink fruit on it, which they look kind of cool. This one's gotten woody. It's never been repotted. It could probably use a repot. And I don't think I'm going to put it back in a hanging pot. So that was a type of jungle cactus. I don't even know if I said that. This is Hoya Sunrise, which is looking pretty bad. It needs to be propagated all the way back because we've gone bald. It needs to be propagated all the way back, and then at that point I will repot it all together. But first, get it propagating and healthy. I think it had some root damage because a lot of it died off right at the base. Yeah, I don't know. And also I think it had flat mites as well. It is currently growing for as bad as it looks. Like this is new growth here. The little green bit. These darker leaves. I don't know. I'm going to try to get it together. And then at the end down there, I have Hoya Kentiana, I guess it is. Just the regular green one, or maybe it's Wayeti green. I don't know. I can't remember which one it was sold to me as. And I'm not sure that I know the difference. It was looking pretty bad for months. Like it was just dying off everywhere. I've started treating it. I've cut a lot of the death out of the top. So I'm probably going to propagate some of this one. And when I repot it, get rid of anything that was dead in the root ball and put it together. But this one is going to stay in this room for now. And then also, that's Cebu Blue. And, oh, who's the other one? Snow Queen Pothos, Marble Queen, Snow Queen. But they will also stay in this room. They just need to be cleaned up. And I need to do some propagating. This one was started from, you know, little 4-inch starter pots at Lowe's. Oh look, there's some reversion there. That's cute, I like it. I've always loved this particular Snow Queen. It's a little droopy, I just watered it this morning. But anyway, I've always loved it because it's very minty. I don't know if that shows. It's kind of very minty. Lots of light color in there, but I really wish I had one that was less, you know, marbly like this and more sectorally variegated, that had more green on it, I guess. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye out for this season. It's a simple thing, but I really love pothos. I think I've said that before. I've got a few different varieties, and I enjoy just about all of them, except for the skeleton key, Epiprenum skeleton key. Because that one's a bitch. And then this is one of several Cebu Blues that's around here. You can see we've got dead leaves in there. We've got some yellowing in here. And I think it's just from a combination of being in low light. There's not many, where these plants are hanging all around this bed, there's no plant light. They're getting incandescent light from all the way over here, like straight up, but there's nothing on any other side of the room. So, you know, they weren't getting the best light. So every time I watered them, it seems like leaves will yellow. And then when they're not watered, leaves just die. So it needs to be cleaned up, but I'm not repotting it or doing anything to this one. Actually, I think this was two. I had two separate baskets about a year ago, combined them into one. I have one that has mature leaves that's just also hanging. It's dangling, actually. I took it out of a hanging pot. No, I took it off a pole. That's what it is. Took it off a pole, and it's just kind of climbing down a shelf downstairs right now with mature leaves. Some of them are still mature, some of them are reverting pretty quick. But yeah, love it. Just gonna clean this one up. Might go ahead and do it now. Okay, but I'm pretty sure I'm happy with just 3 plants hanging on this canopy. I'm gonna have plant pieces all over the floor. And of course I just took the vacuum downstairs. That's all tangled with itself so that you can't even tell what you're cutting. It really is. I have a habit of, like, while I'm watering these plants, I just kind of throw them in my bathtub. So I take all the vines and flip them over so I'm not like squashing the leaves and vines. And then I can't find the end of them. Maybe they grow into the top. I don't know what happens. I untangled one earlier, a Mandula pothos, which was looking pretty bad at one point, but I've actually been paying some attention to it. It still needs some bits cut off, but it's actually perked up and growing some healthy looking leaves again for once. But there are just straight vines in this particular one that have just shriveled off. I don't think I'm going to put any more plant lights in this room than what I have. I think I have 4 plant lights that currently aren't being used. They were somewhere at some point this winter. I'm getting ready to have, I think, 2 more because I'm taking the last shelf that I have in that plant room that I want out, taking that out. But I don't think I'm going to use them anywhere unless I absolutely need to have more light somewhere, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be gentle on my outrageous electric bill. Like, there's 2 of us here, and my electric bills are real high, real high. But then again, we have one electric heater that runs occasionally. I think it's set to 64 just to keep us from freezing to death. But even when my kids were here and we had air conditioners running in the summer, my electric bill wasn't as high as it's been this winter. Our primary heat is wood pellets. So I feel terrible for, like, people who have a big household. I don't know how they're paying their electric bills. Like, and there's 2, like, electric companies where I live. I am on one that has actually been cheaper. The other one, people's bills, it's nothing to say that they tripled in the last several months, which I can't imagine that. Mine's high, but it hasn't tripled. Ooh. No, I do not need to propagate this plant. I have so much Cebu Blue, it's coming out of my ears. I'm just cutting off, I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing, naked vines that are either mostly or even completely naked. And that would also be for my underwatering. Just all the leaves dried up and fell off or whatever. I'm assuming anyway that that's what happened. I know somebody's probably irritated with me for not propagating that, but as I say, there's plenty of this plant. I'm just trimming it back, and I'm hoping that it'll fill out again near the top for these pieces that are like leafless. Bunch of leafless bits. I really can't tell from which end I'm cutting some of these. I know I cut this one in 2 different places. It must have been rooted itself into the top somewhere. If not, I guess I'll find out when it dies, because I cut off its water supply. Oh, there it is. That one doesn't look terrible, I guess. These do, though. My poor plants. I'm sure they would be so happy to go outside and get a vacation from me. I'm going to put some out in my gazebo for sure. I do every year. And they do really well in there. But the greenhouse, I think I'm going to put some out in there too, I guess, if I can get the doors on there. And, you know, make it so that wasps aren't really making themselves too terribly at home in there. I'll put it that way. Where is the end of this vine? Lord have mercy. Okay. It's like 5 foot long, and the leaves are only at the end. Where did I put them scissors? Already. Lost the scissors. There they are. Same with this one. I guess that's better. There's still some up in there that I think I can get out. Some more leafless bits. I'm a firm believer that they'll reshoot from somewhere else and look much better than the scraggliness that is currently here. I'm not a fan of the scraggliness. Alright, it looks a little rugged. But it shall improve. Like I said, for now, this one is going to continue to live in this room. But it will, I'm sure, most of my hanging plants usually end up going either in the greenhouse or the gazebo. Because I banged 9 million nails and screws into the gazebo to hang things like that on. I like to walk under the canopy of leaves. Hangers down here, they can go in the closet. I only have one closet, but they'll go in that closet. This is yet another plant light and extension cord that I'm not using anymore. Whoops. So I'm going to go put that in the plant room until I figure out where to store it. Got distracted. I'm over here picking leaves off of this pothos. Dead leaves. Let's go ahead and give that a haircut too. We're here. Since I watered it this morning, I guess that's as good a time as any. Once again, we have long vines that are just naked. And I might propagate some of them. No, I will propagate some of these. Will I? It's not that naked on top. It's a little naked. I'll propagate some. And I'm not going to do individual cuttings. I'm just going to do vines. and I'm going to stick them in one of these things that suction cup to a window. I might have to put some leca or something in there to keep it from falling out. No, I think it'll do. I'll see if I can't fit a few more cuttings in there. And then I'll stick it to a window somewhere. Or maybe to the mirror that's hiding the closet. I'm not going to do any like wet sticks or anything like that. I don't know how well we're focusing. My battery's gonna die. Just know that if it does, I'll be back. I'm just gonna continue chopping until this looks not so scary. Pulling off dead leaves and cutting shriveled vines and naked vines. That's the method to my madness here today. Probably getting it all over this bed. I'll wash that too. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not stressed about it. I'm not fussed. See a bunch of empty vine here. Yeah. Oh. So the back side's really naked. Some empty vine. I guess we'll keep some of these leaves here at the end for propagating purposes. Oops. Put them right in there with this one, which may or may not stay. Yeah, I think they'll stay. Lots naked here, lots naked here. I got 2 of those things. I might need both of them. Or I might just stick these in a jar. How much do I need to propagate? Lots of dead leaves just kind of hanging out in there. Just calling all the pests to it. Me, I'm the one you want to destroy. Just finish it right off. I might leave that there. Well, it looks better anyway. I don't know, there's some leaves up in here that are dead. So this is the wreck. I guess the first thing to do is get this light out of the way because it's blinding me. Most of these plants are okay. Some of them are struggle plants. This is the Philodendron UPI, which I guess I should give it a stick soon. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to put this one on a moss pole. I think it's going to size up just fine for my purposes, for what I'm looking for out of a plant without that. Not only that, but moss poles are a pain in my butt. I don't have a great time with them. I'm sticking it in a hanger here, like a macrame hanger, which you may or may not have seen. It'll eventually go, probably hang above this window. I'm not sure. I'll put some hooks in the ceiling I have a couple macrame hangers for that kind of thing, but just hanging off furniture all the time is too much. Or hanging across every window. Some windows is not convenient, like the one in front of my pellet stove. Hoya carrii, just the green one. It's growing. It hasn't in probably 2 years. This one hasn't grown, but it's starting again, so 2 years, at least a year. Where am I going to put it? I have multiples of this. Do I need multiples of this? I can't really give it to anybody, so I don't know. I guess I'll hold on to it for a little while longer. Where am I going to put it? That's the question with all of these plants, is where am I going to put it? I have the outer variegated one of this too, downstairs. I really don't want to clutter up that shelf in the hall. Plant room, it's cluttered up anyway. I'll put it there for now. Billietier. It's fine. I do like this plant, but it's got a spread on it for as small as it is. Like, it takes up some space. It's got a support stick in it that's really not supporting anything. It probably needs to be repotted and have a proper support put in it, but I did just repot it a few months ago. It's also a sticky plant. This one might stay in this room, just not on this shelf. So I'm going to set it aside for now. And hope it doesn't drip sap on that quilt. This is a philodendron Summer Glory. I have a large one at my feet. I'm going to give this one away because I just don't need to again. It's been needing a repot. It's probably got roots hanging out the bottom. No, it actually doesn't, but it needs a repot. It's to the edge of its little bitty pot, and I just don't need to. So I'm going to give that to somebody. I'll put it on Marketplace later. Start a pile for those. Syndapsis, I think it's mostly exotica in here, but it has some other type in here as well, which I don't actually know the name of. I'll show you. This is the not exotica one, and then this is one of the is exotica ones, leaves I mean. I recently propagated the not exotica one because the exotica is taking over in this pot. That and it's sparse. It's always been kind of sparse. It didn't really fill out like I expected it to. So I'm hoping to fill it out that way. I need to propagate more of it because it's even more sparse than it looks. Let me see if I can untangle this. Yeah, there we go. That might show the adequately show the sparseness of this plant. I think I'm gonna repot this smaller for now. So that goes in my repot pile in the plant room. This, I just broke this the other day. This is Homolocladium platellidum. I don't know. Tapeworm plant. I actually broke it here. It's in a jar up there. The jar will go on the new shelf that I just put in the hallway. This will probably end up going somewhere in this room again, if it can get good light, because this plant seems to really appreciate higher light. Set it aside for now. This is a jar of plant pieces that I've broken, just sitting in water. A piece of that tapeworm plant plus some Cissus quadrangularis in there that I've broken. Yeah, so that's gonna go live on that shelf in the hallway. Oh, I broke it. Back here, have I got the audio on? Yeah. Back here is philodendron, I think it's tripartitum, which has been severely neglected for years. It's also a spider mite and thrips magnet. I'm just looking to see if it's currently infested with anything before I go set it next to something else. It's in leca, which actually sounds dry. I don't actually see anything on it at the moment. That doesn't mean there isn't, but I don't see anything. Okay, it's gonna live in this room still, so set it aside for the moment. And then philodendron, I think snowdrift, which I have. Occasionally I get this rust to clear up and then it comes back. So I might actually chop this in its entirety and propagate it, because I'm not having a good time treating, this is new growth and it's already got like bacterial or fungal rust spots on it. Let me see if I can actually show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so this is the most recent leaf that's open, and it has those spots. This is the new growth, and it already has some spotting on it. It's not even open yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to chop this and propagate it and see if we can do better. It's got some places where it'll grow from easy enough, but yeah, we're going to get rid of those leaves. Spray the whole thing with some copper fungicide and see what happens. Ripsalis mesembranthomoides, which is the longest name ever. It's not doing good. I'm throwing it away. It's like desiccated. I think it's gone too dry too long. I have watered this and rehydrated it several times since it started to look like this, but none of it looks healthy. None of it. And two more plants. Alocasia regal shield up here. And dry. It's in pond. It's very dry. This plant, it really needs more light than what it's getting in here. But if I can get it so it's not next to the ceiling, maybe I can get it more light in here. So I'm going to set this aside for the moment. And then my Frydek, Alocasia Frydek, or you know, the non-variegated one, which has been on the struggle bus for a couple months now. Spider mites and everything else. I'll cut this leaf off. I don't see any webbing or active spider mites, but nevertheless, it's had stuff happen to it. And I'm not sure what's going on with it, but I need to dig around the roots. I think there's 3 in here. This leaf is actually curled down, and I think it's because the window's there, and they always turn toward whatever the brightest light source is. Since it's the window below the plant, that seems to be where it wants to go. Yeah, poor thing. It was magnificent for a while there. It's still growing. That leaf there at the top is new. It's smaller than the rest of them, but it has been a little bit neglected the past few months. So, I don't know. I'll get it sorted out. Okay, so that's all the plants. Now I just have to get this junk off here. I got these. I was just using one of these for the marble queen cuttings. Dollar store. Dollar General in particular, I believe. For $1. And then I got this plant pick thing. It's meant to manage some petioles, you know. You stick them through the wire there. Also $1. I just got them a couple days ago and haven't used it yet. Clearly, any of them. I only got one. I don't know if they're practical or not. Anybody else collect like uranium glass? You know, radioactive glass. I used to have it like a blue light on it. Blue light or black light or UV light. They really light up and glow. It's pretty. It's pretty under the light, I promise you. But I don't collect it anymore because really, what are you going to do with a whole bunch of glass that you can't use? If that gets used now, I'm putting a plant in it. Propagating a plant in it. Alright. Odds and ends all over the place. Unfortunately, the cord to this light goes back in this corner underneath all this other stuff. My shoe. Ow, my head. Oh my gosh, there's a wall plug here. Oops. Ow. Okay, victory is mine. I've got it unplugged. All right. Everything's harder than it has to be, I swear. Like things you're like, you look at it and you're like, that's gonna be simple. It's gonna take me 15 minutes. I've been recording all day. And all those things I thought, those things are gonna be simple. They're gonna take me 15 minutes. Lying to myself. Please don't fall. Okay. Okay, now I just have to pull this apart and drag it outside, and I'll be back. So it's a whole new day. I got distracted. I made dinner, ate, cleaned up, after dinner. And I did come back up and continue working in that room, but I didn't record because it was getting late. And when I speak, the birds holler and my husband was trying to sleep. So I got a lot done. I kept going till probably about 3 o'clock in the morning, putting away craft stuff or trying to organize craft stuff and putting plants, here, there, wherever, watering things as they needed to be watered. That, and I had a giant tub of soil. It was a giant bag of soil. And it was really heavy because it was sopping wet. I bought it probably a month ago now. And I didn't realize that it was that wet. I mean, I did realize that it had definitely gotten some moisture to it. So I opened it up last night thinking, this is going to be foul. And I was really thinking that I was going to end up taking it outside to like fill in a low spot in the yard, a hole or something. But it actually didn't reek. It didn't smell like anything really. It smelled like soil. But I thought it was going to be foul. So what I did is I put it in a tote, and I've got a little fan clipped on there to hopefully dry that out. It is drying some. It's been, I think I put it in there around midnight, so it's been about 12 hours now. I can see it drying. I'm just, stirring it around and then leaving it to have the fan blow on it. It's a pain in the butt, and if I could just run and grab another bag of soil, I'd do that instead. So this is what I've got for now, because I'm just not using it that wet. I put some mosquito bits in it because I was kind of worried where it's been so wet that it'll just be full of fungus gnats. So I don't know. Also, while I have mosquito bits, I've got this little organza bag here. I'm going to make some mosquito bit tea because fungus gnats are definitely a thing. I guess it's that time of year. And I've been kind of slacking on watering with the mosquito bits, so I'm just going to attempt to not make a mess. Pour some of these in here. Maybe a couple tablespoons worth. My water gallon on the floor. I kicked it over. See if I can get that in there. It's gonna be a pain in the butt to get back out, but it's all right. I'll manage. All right. I'm gonna go fill this up with water and let it sit a while, wash my hands before I rub them all over my face. Okay, so that's sitting and soaking and chilling and doing all the things it's supposed to do. Got a mess. I made a huge mess moving things around. Attempting to organize things, I made a big mess. I made it messier than it was. It's like, this is my life. Okay, so this is one of the Hoyas I was talking about yesterday. It's Fusco marginata. Which, it's doing all right. It wasn't really growing much, so I've been treating it for flat mites, and I can see some new growth on it. I think I mentioned that yesterday, or earlier in this video. Excuse me. It's definitely spring. The trees are blooming. There's daffodils and dandelions and henbit growing in the yard. And pollen and... Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm going to trellis this, but I'm surely going to repot it. It's, once again, it's very one-sided and heavy in this pot, which is not heavy. It hasn't really started pulling itself out yet. Oh, it's got new growth at the base too. I just noticed down in there, it's got a little piece here that's new, a little boop, and then there's another one down there. I hate messing with it. I hate messing with any Hoyas when they're actively pushing out new leaves, which I guess happy Hoyas would be constantly pushing out new leaves. But I'm going to. I'm debating, do I want to try to trellis it or not? That's going to be a hot mess on a trellis. Just because it's been hanging for so long. I think I'm just going to up-pot it. I'm looking at the pot over off screen. It's the one I debated shoving the, yesterday, putting the jungle cactus in. Yeah, orchid cactus. Yeah, I think that's it. But anyway, so, and I don't think that this needs much of an up pot, really. I think it just kind of needs a soil refresh. It's very chunky soil. Bark and a lot of bark and perlite. I don't think there's much soil left in here at this point. I'm not sure, but that's the plan, I think, is to get it in there. I think my brain shrunk overnight. I guess I need something to put this old soil in. Okay. I feel like I've been eating rocks. My throat is just toast. Pollen. Like, what's the... Maybe somebody has a recommendation. What's the best over-the-counter allergy medication? Looks normal, smells normal. I don't know. I think I take Benadryl in the evenings sometimes because it does make me tired. And then I also have Flonase. I think the current one I'm trying is Allegra. That sounds right. I think that's an allergy medication. But nothing really seems to be helping much right now. The roots look good. And I think I'm definitely going to put it in that pot because it's not rooted enough that it needed an up pot. Like I said, it was just drying, and I'm hanging plants. I love them, but there's just too many. Just too many. Some of them are going to have to be shelf sitters. So maybe a heavy pot will help them not pull themselves off into the floor. This does have drainage, right? Yes. That'd be terrible. Throw it in here and just drown it. Trying to help the poor thing. Okay, and I don't think I broke the new growth yet. Probably shouldn't say that out loud. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get through many plants. I just don't have a whole lot of soil. I was really hoping to get a bunch in today. I'm going to have to go buy more soil while I wait for this enormous bin to dry out. It's not enormous. It's probably double the size of this one that I have sitting on the table here currently. So I guess it's big enough, and it's full of soggy soil. Which, I mean, I guess I could use it that way. It's just not pleasant to repot with very wet soil, so. I'm trying to remember if I wanted to propagate this one. I don't think I do. I think it's fine as it is. And I had just watered it, so I'm not watering it today. I will water it tomorrow. I'm going to let some of the moisture that's currently in there, it's a rock, disperse before I go and soak it again. Some of the water that's currently in the root ball. I'm telling you, my brain really did shrink overnight. Coherent thought is it's not with me today. I don't know what's wrong with me. All right. Smack it around. I hope I have audio. It looks like I do. Okay. And I thought I saw some places where it's dried off. Let me go get my scissors. It's a couple of them, I guess. Whew, it's getting warm up here. 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Where's my... I can't remember what I was chopping with those yesterday, so I just want to give them a little wipe with some alcohol. Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to cut this vine all the way back to this newer growth. I don't think this is a slobbery Hoya. Yeah, it is. Not as excessively as some, though. Some really just, blah. They'll drip all over everything if you barely bump them. Aren't Hoyas fun? And here's a piece that's dried off. That one has a leaf. This one is where the peduncle is. I think it's the only peduncle this plant has, right there. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to zoom in or something, maybe you'll be able to see it. But then it's like crispy past the peduncle, the tip, just the tip. This one's the same way. Crispy past the leaf, not crispy, but dried off. Done growing, this one's done that same thing. This one here, it's been broken right about there where my finger is. And it's not quite dried off down the end, but I can definitely see where it's been broken. So I'm going to cut it back to the leaf, I think. It was pretty dry anyway. Okay. Ooh. All right. I guess I'm done playing with that one. Till it comes time to water it. Alright, let me clean up my mess and I'll be back. Where can I put you? You want to hang out up here? I think you'll look nice there. And we could just push everybody right out of the way because you're so big. Okay, cool. What was I going to do next? Does anybody know? Do I even know? Okay, and moving right along, I think... Where's the Hoya that I wanted to trellis? Where did I put them all? Trellis. You know, I might have said that I wasn't going to trellis this Hoya. I believe it's crassipes. But I think I've changed my mind. I don't know, that's a lot of Hoya there already for a trellis. Isn't it? I know it needs a repot. See, indecision is a thing, especially when you have a smooth brain like I do today. I don't know what to do. Got another Hoya there. Maybe let's mess with the Hoya Sunrise. Let's do that because that one is on the struggle bus. This one here is doing pretty well, actually. This plant in the summer and fall was so happy. It bloomed. It set like seed pods, which exploded, you know, left little floofs everywhere. But it's not now. There's some parts of it that are just dead. Not dying, but dead. And I'm not sure what's happened there. I'm not sure if I'm going to trellis this or not. We'll see what's left after I pick at it for a while. Oop. Put this lid back on here before I dump that in the floor. Alright, I guess get the hanger out of the way. Yeah, there's pieces that are just completely like shriveled and dead, and then there's some leaves that are definitely like wrinkly and thin, even though other parts of the plant are hydrated. Maybe something going on in the roots there. If I can get this hanger off. There we go. Getting a collection of them back here. Yeah, it's just, it looks awful. So, I think I have one propagation of it, but I think I'm definitely going to propagate a bit more. It's just in water, in the bathroom of shame. Do I try to cut off the dead stuff first? I don't think there will be much plant left. Let's just get in here. Instead of trying to pull the dead out, I can separate it out that way. I think. Pea brain, you know. Wow, it actually had roots growing into the bottom. And they look fine. They're kind of like a tan or white color. They're not stringy. Well, I don't know what I did to make it mad, but at some point I made it mad. I'm not seeing any like root mealies or anything. I am being very disruptive, I know. I'm like breaking this root ball apart, which normally I try not to do with Hoyas, but I don't see anything in here that would be causing an issue. Maybe it's just my crap watering. Or maybe it didn't love coming in from the out. I was hoping I could just separate off this dead chunk. It looks like it's like a few different stems that were potted together, but it looks like parts of each are dead. That's very strange. Okay, I guess I'll be cutting. What a tangled mess. That is so weird. Yeah, this is all desiccated and dry. I don't know what to do with it. The trash can is over there behind you, and I will kick that tripod all over the place trying to get to it. Yeah, that one's dead. This one branches. On one side the leaves are firm. On this longer bit, there's no taco test there. It's as flimsy as a paper towel. Flimsy as a rag. So that's unusual. I don't know what I did to make this Hoya so mad. But it's mad. It's probably going to be madder now, but we'll propagate some of it and see what's going on. See if we can't revive it. Might have to propagate the whole thing because it's like, it looks really bad. Oh, leaves are falling off. Or maybe I'm ripping leaves off. This is new growth here at the end. I think we're going to propagate the whole thing. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm doing here. Oh, it's a slobbery one on my desk. I'm just cutting at this point. I don't know how well they'll propagate where I am leaving them kind of a longer length. But, you know, I guess we'll see. I just don't want to fool around with a whole bunch of little cuttings, which is honestly just me being lazy. It is. Ugh, sticky. I've been needing to do this actually for a while. I noticed, I don't know, a couple months ago that it wasn't looking fantastic. So, but you know, it's me, and I was just like, oh, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. And then I guess I noticed a few weeks after that that it was not going to be fine. So here we are. I'm terrible for putting things like this off. It's not like it's that hard. It really isn't. It's like anything else. It just takes a little bit of time, you know? Ugh, this thing is slobbering. Oh, this one has new growth. I'll definitely cut that. Yeah, probably the only piece of the plant that had any new growth. Ugh, it's a drippy one. I'm gonna be all broke out. I know Hoya sap doesn't really bother a lot of people other than it's sticky and messy, but for whatever reason it really irritates my skin. Sap, latex, whatever it is, I'm rubbing it all over my clothes. The rest of it, I mean, it's okay, but it just doesn't look great. I don't know, I guess I'll take this piece here. I think that's plenty of cuttings, and like I said, I have one already rooted, which I'll probably leave a little bit longer. It didn't take that long to root, and I don't suppose these will either. And I'm just going to put them in water also. Yeah, this is... Actually, some of this... No, it doesn't look good either. I was going to say some of this particular vine looks okay. A lot of it has heavy pest damage. I think something in the greenhouse was feasting upon it. As with many of my plants in the greenhouse, I don't really go off with pesticides in there. So, yeah. I'm putting that in the trash, and I'll stick those in water. Let me find something to stick them in water. I got my beaker up here. This guy. I guess I'll stick them in there. Oh, my hands are itching already. Maybe it's all in my head, I don't know. It could be. It could be, I won't even lie to you. Dang. Some of the end, the stem, the part where it'll root, some of them are kind of short. It's gonna stain the inside of my beaker. I'm not that worried about whether it stains the inside of the beaker. I think I can get it off eventually. CLR or something. I have found it actually difficult to remove from several surfaces. Hoya sap, I don't know why it's so... I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe we'll use a jar. If I can reach it. Come here, jar. This jar. Which still has some anthurium seeds stuck in it. Alright. clearly that's the last thing I used it for, was washing anthurium seeds. Okay, I think that'll just hold them in there a little bit better. And I'll add some water and rinse this. Okay. I guess that will do. Okay. Sorry, my husband called. I think the last thing I'm going to fool with is that Syndapsis that I was talking about yesterday. This Syndapsis. It's the Exotica and Silver Satin. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. But they both look pretty similar. I did take some cuttings. They're in the bathroom. I'm going to go and check and see if they have any roots before I dig around in here. I'm probably going to cut more. So they do have some root. Not a ton, and I don't know why I cut them this way. I guess I was in a hurry, but there's a little bit of root there. This one looks like just plain Exotica that I cut. And then this was a piece of the Silver Satin, whatever it's called. I guess we'll pot them in there. And I'm definitely cutting more. Definitely. Which way am I going here? It's all tangly. It's so leggy. Okay, I'm gonna chop this all the way up. These leggy ones, I'm looking at it. A lot of bare vine here and there. So I'm gonna propagate those in their entirety. And there's a few that aren't leggy like that. I will pot them together in a much smaller pot. I think that's the plan here. Because this is a mess. Yeah, this is all that's left, it looks like, of the other Syndapsis that I can't remember the name of. It's got some pretty decent aerial roots on it, though. I'll keep a note of this, too, because I can actually see where there's already a little bud on this one. Let me show you closer. Right there. So, and it's already got a little bit of a root nub in there. Sorry about my nails, they're atrocious. I'm going to stick this in that, it's a jar of moss. That's where I'm sticking that. And it may or may not do well. I'm hoping it will. Because I actually really liked this one. You can get it at Lowe's now. I saw it there not too long ago. But, and I would replace it if this dies. I would. I do like my Syndapsis quite a bit. But yeah, I figure I already have it here, so why not mess with it and see if we can't get something going. Okay, so this is just regular Exotica. I'm not going to do any node propagations of this. Like, you know, bare node, I mean. But I am going to go and propagate it one node, one leaf style. I am kind of like wondering, can I just stick it in soil? We are coming into the growing season, you know what I mean? It might take... That's probably how I grew this in the first place, to be honest. I think I might do that. I might, except for with that bare node. It could work, right? That's what I'm gonna do. Because it's warmer, and I think it'll do fine. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, I can replace it. it's a fairly readily available plant. So, yeah. That there's fine. That one there is leggy. That one's fine. This one's not. Okay. Oh, no, this one here is leggy too. Okay. Hopefully I've got enough soil. I think I do. It'll probably go right back in that same pot. I guess I'll leave this guy hanging. We'll see how much root these other pieces that are in here actually have before we commit to that. We're putting it back in the same pot. Dang, that one's kind of leggy too. I didn't realize it until I turned it this way. Alright. I'm just chopping this whole plant up. Look at that, that's ridiculous. Oh. Okay. I'm making a mess. Can you imagine that? Me making a mess? Wow, that was a lot of bare node under the soil. I'm just chopping. I'm leaving the root that's on it. It has a little bit of root there, but there was another piece that is just bare node. I don't need that piece. This one. They're not as rooted as I thought, considering that it was really stuck in the pot. It must be, you know, these pieces that I just cut. This is another one. It had a ton of, like, just stem under the soil. It's got a little root there, so I'll cut it there. This little bitty thing here. There we go. This one with its half of a leaf. You're trying. We'll keep you. And I think that might be it. Oh. I don't know what that was, but it doesn't look like it was doing good anyway. That's everybody, right? Alright. Kind of clean this mess up and I'll be back. You overheated, which, like, bold of you. No, it's warm in here. It's 76. So I got a smaller pot. I don't know why this hanger's still up here. Because a lot of it just doesn't have any root. So rather than put it back in the same pot, I'm just going to use this one. It's not that much smaller, but it is smaller. And we'll see if we can get some roots going. Oh, my node. Let me stick that in this jar before I forget. I don't know when I did this jar, but it's actually kind of filled out pretty good. It was either small cuttings or leafless nodes, the stuff I put in here. And now there's plants in here. Some of them I'm not sure what they are. I see some Amedrium medium silver, what I assume must be Philodendron gigas, Syngonium red spot tricolor or pink spot tricolor. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing a monstera of some sort because it's green and it's fenestrated. I don't know. Epipremnum skeleton key. Syndapsis silver hero. Looks like maybe melanochrysum. Melanochrysis. There's stuff in here I'm not sure what it is. Oh, there's a couple of like the marble pink princess in here. I need to sort that out soon because some of it's kind of too big for this jar. But for now, this node's going down in here too. I still see a couple nodes just sitting there, but they're not rotted. Or they don't appear to be. I don't know. Just wait longer. Just wait longer. Okay. That's down in there, growing point up. Done. Done, dude. And let's get these guys in some soil so the ones that do have roots don't dry out completely. Alright. Oop, that's dried off. There's no rhyme or reason to the way I'm putting these in here. And I think it'll look pretty ridiculous until until summer, when it starts to situate and maybe grow. That's a fair amount with no root. Gosh, I might have to propagate some of these separately because it's going to be a lot going on in here if I just keep jamming them in there. It will be a lot going on. And this is going to look absolutely absurd. I can already tell, because it already looks pretty absurd. Oop. I maybe could have used the bigger pot, actually. Maybe could have. Because I don't think I'm going to put any more in this than that. Because that's already quite a bit. I think after this plant, I'm going to call this video done because it's probably pretty long now. It looks like overall I've recorded about 5 hours of footage. So, yeah. And I'll probably whittle that down to hour and a half, I don't know. I don't include a lot of stuff because I'm like, what was I doing? You couldn't see anything, you know? I'm not always aware of what a poor angle I've chosen for the camera until I go back and like trying to edit it or something. So that, and it's going to get warmer today, so I think the camera's just going to overheat and overheat and overheat, and that drives me nuts. So I got to turn it off and wait a while for it to calm down. Oops. I just dumped so much dirt in my lap. Potting mix. Yeah, that does look pretty absurd. It'll be fine, I hope. As long as I've got the nodes down in there where they'll be covered with some soil, I think it'll be alright. I hope. Like I said, this is the time of year for planting rootless things. Sounds wrong. I just mean that this time of year I think things have the best chance of rooting directly in soil. So we're gonna see how that goes. And unfortunately, it looks like I have enough here for a whole other pot. Fortunately or unfortunately, because I just kept cutting. Yeah, I'm gonna get a small pot. Am I gonna get a small pot? I'm gonna get another 6-inch pot. I actually have one of these hanging pots clean. I just washed a ton of pots and then I put them away somewhere. I have no idea where I put them. No clue. And it was a bunch of pots, so it's not like I could like just easily hide them under something. It was a bunch. It was like a big tote full of them. No clue where they went. No clue. I guess someday I'll find them. Today is apparently not that day, but... Is that one? Yeah, I guess it'll be alright. Some of these ones with shorter stems, I might have to put like a second layer. A layer higher up. And I am gonna separate these because I don't know if I thought that was gonna root that way. It might, you know, multiple leaves, but I just think it'll have an easier time with slightly less relying on one little root nubbin. Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to fill that, and then I've got these two that I'll kind of tuck in the middle. In my mind, that's the way to do this. Doesn't mean it is. It's just, you know, working in my brain. This one just doesn't want to stay. What is your problem? Me, I'm the problem. It's not a surprise or a secret. Alright. Try that again. Okay. Now I'm going to try to... Because this one has a growth point, so I don't want to bury that so terribly deeply. I mean, I'm going to have to kind of bury it. And then this one here, we're going to lose the bottom leaf. Okay. That was also in, like an end cutting. Has a growth point. Alright. Now squish everybody toward the middle. So ridiculous. This one leaf does not want to stay in here. Getting frustrated with it. Okay, so some of that had root, some of that didn't. I can't remember. There was two cuttings that had some root somewhere. This leaf, it's the same leaf. I guess I'll stick it in some water somewhere. I thought I had a jar back there. Oh no, I moved that already. With the Hoya Sunrise cuttings. I've already put them under a light in a different room, in the guest room, as a matter of fact. The guest room slash plant room slash craft room. That room. Alright. This one does have a hanger somewhere, but I'm not particularly worried about hanging it right now. So I'm going to water these guys, and then I'm going to go find myself some lunch because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Maybe that's why my brain is not working. I'm thinking about food. But next video, I'm pretty sure I have anthurium chores and probably more Hoya. I will try to continue with what I've started today as far as the Hoyas that just aren't looking tip-top. Not that any of mine really are, but the ones that I've been neglecting to try to figure out what's going on with them, or that need propagating or need trellising. I've got some that I want to take off of a trellis. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. The anthurium, it's the ones in Pawn or Leca. The leaves keep shredding themselves. And I'm not sure what that's about. When I first saw that come out like that, I was like, oh, I've let it go dry. I haven't. From what I can tell, the roots are fine in there. But it's apparently not loving it, so I'm going to take them out of here. This one here, which is the Clarinervium, Pterodactyl, and Magnificum cross. I'm taking this one out, and then also the one that I got, what is it, Fairchild's Crystallinum. Gosh, I can't remember. But I'm also taking that one out, and I'm putting them in soil. Oh, and the Vitarifolium. Is that what it is? I don't know, I think that's right. Vitarifolium? My brain is not working, I need to food myself. But anyway, I think it's 3. And I'm taking those out of semi-hydro, and they're going back in soil, even though I think all 3, no, yeah, all 3 were in soil when I got them. But I like semi-hydro, but I'm not sure that the anthuriums do. That little Clarinervium that I put in Leca is doing fine. It's putting out a new leaf. It's put two leaves out since it's been in there, and it's fine. If I keep spider mites off of it. I'm kind of having the same problem with this crystallinum back here. Spider mites are loving it. But anyway, so I know those are some things I want to address in my next video. Try to take care of and get ready for, you know, the growing season. This is the second leaf that this one has put out like that. It just died. I mean, it was not even a month ago that it put out a leaf like that, and it died. It just curled right up and died. And then it spit out this one. Same exact thing, and it's just looking like it's going to curl right up and die. So, yeah. I'm going to attempt to do something about that. The other one did the same thing. It put out a little teeny leaf, and it stayed red. It's probably still red, but it stayed small. It never expanded any more than, you know, a couple inches, which I think the biggest leaf on that plant's about 5 inches. But this little teeny leaf is like 2 inches. And it's starting to curl. And once again, it's not gone dry. So I'm not sure what's going on. I've sprayed them and treated them because spider mites are definitely a thing in here. Since the weather started changing and it started warming up, spider mites just everywhere. Everywhere. On things that I normally don't even see them on. So, and for those, even on the anthuriums, I'm spraying those with alcohol, neem oil, Castile soap, and water. Yeah, that's what I'm using. And it seems to be doing pretty good, but it's staying on top of it. You know, I can't just do it. It's not a one and done. I got to do it over and over. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. I'm going to go food myself and say thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me, and come back and check me out again soon. Bye.